good morning, good afternoon, and good night to everyone around the world. I'm your favorite friendly neighborhood beer bro,
Mr. Kennedy!
yes. And I hope that everyone had a great week, had a great weekend. I'm in the middle of my vacation. Finally, much needed rest. Got me some days off. I got a lot of sleep. It's been years since I got that. But this is episode 12 of the Mr. VG podcast. I have a lot of news here for y'all today. But first and foremost, before I get started with the show, if y'all remember my Hot Takes Days, the Hot Takes podcast from my lovely co-host, Kelsey Fearless, I just wanted to send a shout out to her. She's sick with pneumonia right now. And I really want her to get better. I wish her a speedy recovery so that you can get back to streaming. She's a very good person. She's awesome. And I love her streams. So I just want to send a shout out. You get better soon, Kelsey. I have a lot of news here for y'all today, and unfortunately, I do have to start off with another sour note. I hate talking about things like this, but I have to show this man respect. The creator of the Dead or Alive series and the revamp of Ninja Gaiden. See, a lot of people get that wrong, but I'll come back to that. Tomonobu Itagaki passed away at 58 years old. He did post his final words on Facebook a couple of days before he died. This is what he had to say. The light of my light is finally fading. The fact that this message has been posted means that the time has finally come. I am no longer in this world. I am entrusting this final post to someone important to me. My life has been a series of battles I kept winning. I have caused a lot of trouble too. I am proud to say that I followed my beliefs and fought to the very end. I have no regrets. However, I am filled with the regret that I am unable to deliver new work to all of my fans. I am sorry. That is how it is. So it goes. It sucks that he passed. One of the things that they got wrong, a lot of the news outlets said that he is the creator of Ninja Gaiden. He did not create Ninja Gaiden. He revamped it in 2004. So when we got Ninja Gaiden Black and the Ninja Gaiden Sigma series, that was him. But he was not the creator. So I just wanted to let everybody know that. He started for Tecmo in 1992. He worked there until 2008. So that's a long time. He started as a graphics designer. He was mentored by the actual creator of Ninja Gaiden, Yoshiaki. So he did the original one in the arcades and of course the one for Nintendo or Famicom. In 1996, he did his first Dead or Alive game. Worked on Dead or Alive 2, Dead or Alive 3. Dead or Alive 3 is when it became exclusively for the Xbox. So if you wanted to play the Dead or Alive series, you had to go to green. You had to go to the Xbox. In April 2001, he assumed the leadership of Team Ninja. Actually, I'm sorry, that's July of the same year, July 2001. He assumed leadership of Team Ninja, which went on to do the Ninja Gaiden Sigma series and Ninja Gaiden Black and stuff like that. On June 2nd, 2008, just before the release of Ninja Gaiden 2, Itagaki released a statement in which he announced that he was resigning from Tecmo and was suing the company for 148 million yen, which equates to $1.4 million in US, for withholding a bonus promised for his previous works. He was also suing Tecmo's president for damages based on unreasonable and disingenuous statements made in front of his colleagues. Other lawsuits against them were filed against the former president and two plaintiffs on behalf of 300 Tecmo employees suing for withholding executive retirement benefits amounting to 166 million yen and unpaid wages to about 8.3 million yen. So yeah, they had a nasty fallout. In January 2021, Itagaki announced that he would be establishing a new game studio. Itagaki Games. At its inception, Itagaki said Itagaki Games would release its first game for the PS5, Xbox Series, and the PC in October 2024. The studio was dissolved, leading to initial reports that he had left the games industry. However, it was later on discovered that he had renamed his production company to Itagaki Games Co. Ltd. in September of 2024, which continued to operate. These are some of the games that he worked on. Techno Super Bowl, which I definitely remember that. That's for the Super Nintendo, aka Super Famicom. He was a graphics designer on that in 93. Dead or Alive, he was a producer and director. Dead or Alive 2, Dead or Alive 3, Dead or Alive Extreme Beach Volleyball. Ninja Gaiden, Dead or Alive Ultimate, Fatal Frame 2 Crimson Butterfly as a special advisor. Ninja Gaiden Black, Dead or Alive 4, Dead or Alive Extreme 2, Super Swing Golf, Ninja Gaiden Dragon Sword, Ninja Gaiden 2, Devil's Third, and Samurai Jack Battle Through Time. So he had his hands in a lot of things, and it sucks that he passed away. 58 is still pretty young. And rest in peace to him. He had a big part in me becoming the video gamer that I am now, because I love the Ninja Gaiden stuff, and I love Dead or Alive too. I love fighting games. I always have. So rest in peace to him. Prayers out to his family. And that just sucks. I want to talk about this new Final Fantasy Dissidia game that's been announced. Square Enix has officially announced, I combined the words, officially announced its next Dissidia game for the Final Fantasy spin-off series coming to mobile devices. Dissidia Duelum Final Fantasy was teased yesterday and then officially revealed today, with signups for its closed beta test now open, but only in the US and Canada. While the trailer only hints at expected gameplay, it will feature 3 versus 3 battles with teams aiming to defeat monsters and bosses before their rivals. Now, you heard me say that it was a mobile game. And as you can see, a lot of gamers weren't very happy to hear that. And in fact, they were very mad. And to those people, I want to say this. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. The reason why I'm saying that is because just because a game is announced on mobile does not mean we're not going to get a port. How many games now have started off on mobile and got ported to consoles and PC? Fortnite, Genshin Impact, Icy, just to name a few. Who's to say that if this game does well, if it does well enough, that they won't port it to the consoles and PC? I don't see why everybody's upset. I wouldn't bring out the pitchforks and torches. Calm down. We just got to see how this is going to go. So I won't get mad like that. I'm just going to see how it is. If y'all don't know what Dissidia is, it's where they took all of the main characters from every single Final Fantasy game up to this point, and they're all in the same game where you can play as all of them against each other, and it was a lot of fun. I played the original one. I forget what that was for. I think it was for was it for the PSP or the PS Vita? I can't remember. It's been a long time, but it was fun being able to play. It's like an all-stars type of game with all of the characters from Final Fantasy. A lot of fun. So I can't wait to check that out when it comes out, because I don't hate mobile gaming like a lot of people do. In fact, a lot of these mobile games are, some of them look better than some of the console stuff. I'll be honest with you, with the new phones out now. Surprise. Sometimes you look at some of these trailers, you don't even know. I'm like, you think it's a console game, but it's like, oh, it's coming out for the iPhone. Okay. Boo. But I would relax on that. We might get a port. Just find out what happens. So wanted to talk about the Build a Rocket Boy situation. Remember when I told y'all about the massive layoffs after the Mind's Eye disaster? It looks like Build a Rocket Boy is facing a legal action from former employee developers following those layoffs. The workers claimed that they were forced to work under crunch conditions, which a lot of game developers, they always do that. They're always put in that spot because you have deadlines that they want to get these games out with. That's why we end up getting games that are bugged because they're not finished, because they're timed. These companies, they want to get them out to the masses, us, as quickly as possible. But under crunch conditions that affected their mental and physical health. And they criticized the higher ups for the handling of Mind's Eye. The Independent Workers of Great Britain, IWGB, that sounds like IWGP, but this is not wrestling we're talking about, has launched an action against Build a Rocket Boy on behalf of more than 250 staff who lost their jobs after the Mind's Eye's critical and commercial failure. 93 workers have also signed an open letter detailing what it was like working for Build a Rocket Boy, saying they felt real used and discarded by the company leaders who have chosen not to take responsibility for Mind's Eye failures. So a lot of people got laid off, just like the Microsoft situation. A lot of those people feel slighted and disrespected, which I can't blame them for feeling that way, because when you work hard for a company, you think that there would be some type of sense of loyalty. But these companies, you're just a number. It doesn't matter how long you've been there. It doesn't matter what work you put in. You're just a number. And that just sucks for these companies, man. It's all about money. I don't see them winning this, because I don't see what they hope to gain from this, because even if they won, they fired you. So it's not like you're going to get your job back. And I hate to say that, but it's true. Like, unless they're looking to get some type of money from this, I don't see how this is going to be successful. But stick to your guns. I've seen crazier things before, so I'll keep y'all updated on that. I hope that something positive comes out of this, because if this is true that they were forced to work under those conditions, Build a Rocket Boy is not going to look good coming out of this. So I'll keep y'all updated on that. One game that caught my interest, and I've been checking it out, Parasite Mutant. This is basically the spiritual successor to Parasite Eve. Back in the Square Enix days, because they haven't done jack shit with Parasite Eve since the third birthday. And the third birthday was for the PSP, and I had it, and that game sucked. It was trash. It had Aya in there, and yes, folks, that's how you pronounce it. Not Aya, it's Aya. Trust me, I looked it up. I've heard the Japanese say it, so I'm gonna say Aya. It has her in it, but it does not feel like a Parasite Eve game at all. The story doesn't follow Parasite Eve at all. It's kind of like its own thing, and it sucked. Now, I don't know if that's one of the reasons why they never did anything with it again, but somebody took it upon themselves to say, look, if Square Enix is not going to make a new one, then I'm going to make something myself, something like it. So the narrative follows Nova, that's her name, who was sent on a mission to an abandoned island city filled with horrifying creatures. As players progress, they will uncover the dark secrets of the island and how it impacts Nova's fate. The game features a semi-realistic anime art style, utilizing modern rendering techniques to create a high-definition visual experience. It also has retro filters to invoke the aesthetics of the late 90s and early 2000 games. I did get a good look at it. The trailer looks amazing. It does look like it has the same gameplay style as the original Parasite Eve. So it's more like a turn-based, like a real-time turn-based type of gameplay style. So that's gonna make you feel right at home. And it's kind of like the whole thing with Bloodstained Ritual of the Night. Remember, that's the spiritual successor to Castlevania Symphony of the Night, because for some reason Konami never thought to do a sequel to that game, and fans were clamoring for that for so long that somebody said, you know what, 505 Games, we're going to do our own version of that game. Fantastic game, by the way. If you never played it, you got to get your hands on it, man. It's on everything. It's even on the Nintendo Switch. So go do what you got to do. So I think that that's cool. I will keep an eye on it. There is no release date yet. When I get that information, I will let you guys know. So yeah. I want to talk about this whole thing with Capcom, the Capcom backlash, because they're charging $40 to watch the tournament finals on stream. The announcement stated that fans who want to watch the tournament finals online will have to pay 4,000 yen, $27 to watch the Capcom Cup 12 finals on March 14, 2026, and another 4,000 yen, another $27 to watch the SFL, which is Street Fighter League World Championship on March 15th, 2026. Alternatively, a bundle is available for 6,000 yen, which is $40, that allows them to watch both finals. The announcement was met with backlash from Street Fighter fans, and Capcom has now posted a statement suggesting it will be reconsidering the situation before pay-per-view streaming tickets go on sale next month. And to that I say, what the fuck were they thinking? You're charging people to watch a stream, to watch video game finals? Are you serious? Capcom, are you that greedy? You don't have enough money with the Resident Evil remakes and stuff going on? That's just nickel and diamond, people, man. I wouldn't pay for that shit. That shit should be free, man. Or at the very least, if you're gonna charge people, charge them cheap for like $5 or something like that. Like, come on. I don't blame the fans for being pissed at that. You're just trying to screw fans over. You're just being greedy. So I hope that they backtrack on that. It is next year in March. So I'll let y'all know the details on that. What the hell they decide that they're gonna do. So yeah, like I said, that's a real dick move, man. I hate when companies do stuff like that. And this is not the first time Capcom has done bullshit like that. Remember them charging for a demo back in the day? They've gotten a lot better since then, but yeah, charging for a demo, charging for cheat codes and shit like that. Let's not go back down that path again, Capcom. You're doing so good with the Resident Evil stuff, man. Don't start screwing us over. So that is it for the miscellaneous news. Let's move on to Xbox. Bam! Look at that. Look at the little dunce anime girl in the corner, because that will always be there as long as Microsoft is charging the bullshit prices for the Game Pass. If you buy that shit, congratulations, you just played yourself, and you need to wear that dunce cap. Go sit in the corner. Got a couple of notes here for y'all today. For those of y'all who are fans of the House of the Dead series, you guys are getting a House of the Dead 2 remake. And it's going to be arriving later on this month. So it's going to be coming out on October 24th, which is in a couple of days, at a price of $24.99 US. You can check out the new release date trailer above, which is on the website. This is off of Steam itself. The game features remastered music with the classic soundtrack also available in the game, modern graphics, gameplay faithful to the original, co-op mode, multiple endings and branching levels, various gaming modes from classic campaign to boss mode, training mode, and more. So if you are a fan of the House of the Dead series, I remember seeing that in the arcades back in the day and the arcade machine had like the blue and red gun, and you would go up and you would get that, or I think it was a shotgun. There was so many of those games, Time Crisis and stuff like that. They kind of run together, you know. But there you go. Hopefully you get it, and hopefully you enjoy it. Remember when I was talking about Microsoft hiking up their prices for the Game Pass? They're trying to soften the blow to us gamers. They're trying to backtrack a little bit. They kind of hit the brakes, but not really. This is what they had to say. The price hike is only for a few countries. It says, at this time, these increases will only affect new purchases. It will not affect current subscriptions for the market in which you reside. As long as you are on a auto recurring plan. This is what they said. Should you choose to cancel your plan and repurchase, you will be charged at the new current rate. If for some reason there may be changes to your existing account, we will notify you in 60 days in advance. You will have the option to cancel or change your subscription plan at any time. So basically what they're saying is, if you are on a recurring subscription and you already have your current price, you will not be charged for the new prices coming out. Only people who are new that sign up for the subscriptions, they're going to be charged those prices. Still sucks, because I don't plan on signing for that stuff anyways. But if you just get a new Xbox and you're like, oh yeah, I'm going to go do that, and you find out that your best friend across the street is only paying, $14.99 and you got to pay $30, doesn't seem very fair. And they are saying this for a couple of countries right now. They did not really list it, but they're trying to bring it back. But I wouldn't be surprised if they start to push that out to everybody. I don't trust y'all, man. This is not the first time that y'all bullshitted us. So if you're a new person signing up, you'll get the new increased price. If you're currently if you're currently having a subscription with Xbox with the Game Pass, keep it and just keep it on auto, and you should be fine. Microsoft officially scraps the Xbox Game Pass discounts on DLC purchases. Microsoft has confirmed it is now giving users more reward points in place of the Xbox Game Pass discounts on all games and DLC purchases. The confirmation was made in an official statement on the official statement to IGN after the removal of the Xbox Game Pass discounts was noticed by players last week. Microsoft says that this change will affect all games and DLC purchases. In place of the Xbox Game Pass discounts, Microsoft is giving gamers reward points when making in-game purchases. Ultimate and Premium subscribers will respectively earn 10% and 5% in points after purchase from the Game Pass library. Ultimate subscribers will retain their 20% discount when purchasing select games from the Game Pass library. So basically what they're saying is, if you guys know what the points are, it's basically like the Bing points. When you go on Microsoft Edge and you do your searches and stuff like that, you get points so that you can get that. So they're using the point system instead of actually giving y'all discounts. I don't have a dog in the fight. Like if you're the type of person that just likes to get your discounts off of games and DLC, that does sound like a better option than just getting points. And I hope that these points actually, add up to you actually getting things, not, memorabilia and hats and stuff like that, because that would fucking suck, man. These points better be like, okay, if you save up enough points, kind of like how GameStop was. You save up enough points, you get a 50% off coupon, and you can buy a brand new game 50% off. If they do stuff like that, that would be cool. So let's see how they're going to do with that. Let's go ahead and move on to Nintendo. Bam. Couple of news and notes here for y'all. Hacking group claims to have breached Nintendo. Hacking group Crimson Collective claims to have breached Nintendo's topic files, attaching a screenshot of several folders as proof. Among them are production assets, dev previews, and backups. There's little information right now on how extensive the hack is or what Crimson Collective intends to do with the data it has allegedly obtained. But we can look to its recent attack on Red Hat for a rough idea. Only earlier this month, it breached the software company's private GitHub repositories, allegedly stealing 570 gigabytes of data, including credentials for clients. If that happened, that's going to be real bad news for Nintendo. However, Nintendo has released an official statement denying all claims, saying that this group did nothing to them. This is what Nintendo had to say. We have not confirmed any leak of personal information, and there has been no leak of development or business information. Some external servers that display Nintendo websites were defaced, but the company said there is no evidence of any damage to customers or intrusion into the company. Could they be saying that because they don't want us to panic? Who knows? Did this actually happen? We had a couple of things get hacked. Sony got hacked. Microsoft got hacked. It's not too far-fetched to say that the same thing can happen to Nintendo. You know, I don't know what this is going to be, but I'm going to keep up with it because it could just be a whole thing of just Nintendo saying, hey, our Switch 2 is selling. We don't want people to panic. We don't want this to blow up. So they may have come out with an official statement saying, hey, there's nothing to see here, folks. You know, but I hope that no damage actually happened because that's the last thing that we need is, you know, we already got enough stuff leaking our information already. You know, so the last thing we need is people hacking into Nintendo accounts and stealing money and buying things and stuff. We don't need that. It looks like Avatar, The Last Airbender is getting its own Switch 2 fighter next year. Avatar Legends will see the roster of fighters from immensely popular Last Airbender and Legend of Korra facing off in the ring. We can expect a bit of an elemental combat to keep things feeling fresh, and there's set to be a lineup of support characters for an extra pinch of customization. It's been a long time since I've seen The Last Airbender. I didn't really see that much of Legend of Korra that much. I've seen a couple of episodes, but it really wasn't my cup of tea. But I think that a game like that would be perfect for the Switch. You know, their very own little fighting game and stuff like that, kind of like how they have Super Smash Bros. And stuff like that. So I think that that's pretty cool. There's no information on the date. When I do get the date and all of that, when it's going to be released, I will let y'all know. This is just a rumor, so keep this in mind. Just keep this in mind, you know, but it is interesting to read up on it. Nintendo patents supposedly points to the return of DS games. This was leaked by Mike Odyssey on social media via Go Nintendo. He says that it's confirmed. That's his words. But it says a patent. Nintendo has filed for patents showing 3 different options: dual screens, a parent screen and child screen, and single screen mode. And he has here a picture of what it's supposed to look like, what the patents are supposed to look like. If that is the case, it really wouldn't surprise me because Nintendo has said very much that they want to make the Switch 2 one of the best Nintendo consoles to ever sell. And they just brought back the Virtual Boy, which is, you know, whatever. The GameCube is on there, Super Nintendo, Game Boy games, Nintendo, Sega Genesis. So it's not too far-fetched to think that they're not trying to come up with some type of attachment similar to the Virtual Boy, where you got to have the visor to play the games. Who's to say, give me a second. Who's to say that they're not having some type of attachment made where you can attach a second screen to the Nintendo Switch 2 so that you can be able to play DS games and Nintendo 3DS games? if they do that, then I may have to go out and buy a Switch too, because I mean, come on. They had a lot of great games in their library. It'd be cool to play Dragon Ball Z Super Sonic Warriors for the DS on the Switch too. That would be awesome. Or to play Resident Evil Mercenaries 3D. That would be a lot of fun too. So if that comes to fruition, that would be fucking great for them. I think that would bring in a lot of fans to the Nintendo product. Let's move on to PlayStation. Sony news, folks. PlayStation 5 scam lands North Carolina man in jail. A Goldsboro teen is in jail without bond after police say he robbed people in a scam to sell them his PS5. This is not the first time I've talked about situations like this, and unfortunately it won't be the last time, because you have people like this who don't have the skills to get a fucking job, so they go around trying to rob people, and I'm glad that they caught him. Amari Faison is charged with 2 counts of larceny from a person and 1 count of robbery with a dangerous weapon. Goldsboro police say that the 18-year-old Faison met a woman back on August 27th on Harris Street to sell her a PS5. The man snatched the money from her hands and made off. The same thing happened to a man in the same location September 6th, and then on September 18th, a man met the suspect on South Taylor Street, where police say his money was also snatched from his hands. Faison is due in court for his first appearance, so it took them long enough, but they finally caught him. And I hope he spends some time in jail, because he's still young enough to realize the dumb shit that he's doing, and he can change his life around. I hate shit like this. I really do, because you have a lot of people out here who just want to buy a console, whether it's for themselves, whether it's for their children, grandchildren, whatever. And they see things like this and they think it's legit. And this is why I keep saying to people, please be careful with what you read online. Be careful who you trust. It doesn't matter if it's Facebook Marketplace. It doesn't matter if it's Macari, because you'll see shit like this. If it's too good to be true, it probably is. And I'd much rather y'all just go to the store and just buy a system from there than to trust people on the street, because you got people out here trying to get you. Unfortunately, that's just how it is. And I'm just glad that nobody got hurt. I'm glad that his ass is in jail. I hope he spends some time in there and thinks about what he did. The PlayStation Gear Store is shutting down. This is the website where you can buy merch from titles like The Last of Us, Astro Bot, and God of War. If you go on there now, it displays a message saying that it's closing December 31st, 2025. It notes that the customer service team will remain available, but all sales are now final. So if you buy things from this store, know that all sales are final. The store will be closed. And who's to say that this new reward program that Sony was talking about, that I talked about on episode 11, where you can unlock merch or the ability to buy merch by unlocking trophies and stuff, who's to say that this is not going to be the new system going forward? You know, this is not the only store that's been shutting down. You got a lot of these reward programs that are popping up now. Xbox is doing their own thing. I just talked about that earlier. So this may be the new trend going forward. Rock Band 4 to be delisted from the PS Store and the Xbox storefront. This already happened back on October 5th, so this is a couple of weeks old. This was announced on the developer's Discord and game subreddit. This is what Kyle Wynn had to say. Hey everyone, on Sunday, October 5th, 2025, Rock Band 4 turns 10. What a ride it has been. With this milestone comes one big change. The original licenses for the core soundtrack are expiring. Because of that, Rock Band 4 will be removed from the PlayStation and Xbox digital stores. He confirms that if you already own the game, you'll still be able to download it and play it as normal. The same applies for the DLC. The songs will come down as they hit the 10-year mark, but anything you purchase will remain in your library. So he said that any songs that have the license up to 10 years, after that 10 years, they'll start to be removed from the game. And that sucks. But, you know, they already got their money's worth out of this game. 10 years, that's one hell of a ride for a game. And to be honest, does anybody still play Rock Band or Guitar Hero? I remember there was a time where that was popular. That's all you ever heard about. You would go into GameStop and see, you know, the controller guitar and the, you know, the drum set and all that stuff. That's before, you know, it became less popular and they were just trying to give these things away because nobody was buying them. Does anybody still play this game? I don't know. If you do, know that it's gone, but you can still play it if you downloaded it. Just know that some songs will be missing after it hits the 10-year mark. This whole thing with Sony and Tencent is getting really nasty. Sony, this is what Sony had to say. The damage is done, and it continues. It says that the light of motor RAM is jeopardizing future success. Although public expressed confusion and outrage upon discovering light of motor RAM for the knockoff that it is, Tencent remains undeterred. Tencent continues promoting its infringing game over SIE's objections. And Tencent refuses to accept any responsibility over its conduct. Sony also accused Tencent of playing corporate hide-and-seek with its various entities and subsidiaries in order to avoid responsibility. In response, the Chinese firm argued PlayStation had actually sued the wrong company, as Tencent Holdings is simply a parent company unrelated to its various development studios. Tencent Holdings, this is what Sony had to counter with. Tencent Holdings describes its business as having a games division that owns Aurora Studios, the Light of Motor RAM development studio. Tencent Holdings reports all of its revenue and debts from games on its annual report without attribution to any subsidiary. And it uses the name Tencent to advertise its games like Light of Motor RAM without distinguishing between subsidiaries. Now, first off, before I break this down, Sony, aren't we being a little excessive here? Really? Jeopardizing future success? For God's sakes, yo, like your series already came out. People are going to play that game no matter what. People are not going to see this rip off and be like, hey, I'm going to abandon that and just, you know, abandon the Horizon games and play this knockoff game. Like, come on, man. Let's not be a drama queen about it. I can see where it adds a little bit of confusion, but yeah, let's not go too deep with that. Like, come on. If this is true that Tencent is trying to avoid responsibility and trying to play corporate hide and seek, as Sony is saying, then this could lead to them losing this case if it's proven to be so. You know, I will keep y'all updated on it because, this is getting nasty. And last but not least, Sony plans to start shooting a Horizon Zero Dawn movie in 2026. Talk about a segue. It's planning a movie in 2026 with 2007 for it to be released. This is what they have to say. We are in development for a film based on Horizon in partnership with Columbia Pictures. We already have a working script and are actively searching for a director with the goal of shooting the picture in 2026 and releasing it in 2027. The live action film follows recent collaborations between Columbia Pictures and PlayStation Productions on the 2022 film Uncharted and the 2023 film Gran Turismo. Great games, by the way. I didn't see those movies, so I don't know if they're any good or not. Maybe somebody can tell me. But there you go. They plan on releasing a Horizon movie, and I think that it could work. I played the first one. I still have yet to play the second one, and I plan on getting the remake as well too. But yeah, if you're looking forward to that, look forward to it. I might check it out when it comes out. And that's it. That's all I got for y'all today. I appreciate everyone that checks out the show. You can support me by going to all of these social media things up here: YouTube, Twitch, Podchaser, Apple Podcasts, Pandora, etc., etc. I will have this pushed out into the feed in a little bit. If you guys did not get a chance, I have a new series on YouTube called Forgotten Video Games of the Past. These are video games that nobody talks about anymore, and video game companies haven't done anything with since. My first 2 episodes are up there. I have one on Bushido Blade, and then I have one on Soul Edge, aka Soul Blade. That was a lot of fun to make, so go over there and check that out. I will talk to y'all later. You take care of yourselves, take care of each other. See ya.